Hello, Angela Meiritz-Reid here, Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Christchurch, New Zealand. Today I'm sharing with you how I created this handmade card using the Give It a Whirl dies and the Amazing Thanks dies. So no stamping today, just some watercolouring and die cutting. All the products I have used are available at my online store and will be listed at the end of this video. I've also created a PDF tutorial which is available via my blog. I'll add the link to my blog in the description box. So the bottom of this card is just a basic white card base. I've trimmed it to be a little shorter than the normal size we use here in New Zealand because I've added this die cut and I wanted it to be an even size around the edges. And then there's also this layer here. I've just added that, so I'll pop that to one side. And then the hearts are adhered to another piece of white cardstock, lots of white cardstock today, and that's going to be die cut with that stitched rectangle. So we'll get started with the watercolouring. So I've got a piece of shimmery white. I have coloured this in strips and then die cut it, but you could just do it on separate pieces, just whatever suits you. And then I've got my block and water painter. I just want to add some water just onto there, just so I've got a little bit to play around with. And then you want this to be fairly wet, so give that the water painter a good squeeze and apply plenty of water onto that, because the colours do tend to grab a bit. So I'll start with the Misty Moonlight. Then I just want to grab a bit and a bit of water and just start with a lighter colour and then build it up. Just enough to get some hearts on there. And then I'll just add the darker blue at the bottom. You can always add more water, just squeeze it out from the water painter. So you can see it's even grabbed along there too. These darker colours do have a tendency to, but when they're die cut, it's not there. It's not all concentrated in one area on the heart. And as it dries to it, this looks a bit different. You can even add a bit more just to make it a bit more consistently dark, just whatever colourway you like. And then you can, if you sort of manipulate it to just add some more water. And then when you're drying it, if you're using a drying tool, you can move the water around to give you watermarks. I'll just show you that. If you don't like that watermark look, you can just leave it to dry more naturally and it will just stay how it was more. So then I'm going to do the next colour, and what I'll do is do the pink. A bit of a mess here. Do the pink down here so it gives the blue a little more time to dry. And this pink, it's Magenta Madness, and it does grab quite easily too. So, see, just clean that brush off. Make sure. Give it a good squeeze. Put some more water on there, and then do the same thing. Just add plenty of water, and then just add it. And just build it up. See, it's grabbed. Just really need to be more patient than I am. So same thing, add much colour as you like, and then or more water too if you want sort of a more washed out. And then do the drying thing again. Then we'll add in the yellow in the middle. And we could just use coloured cardstock. I just like the variation of colour that watercolouring gives you. It's not so block colour. And then the last colour is what's more, well, quite a bright yellowy colour. It's some Mango Melody, so sort of orangey as well, depending the depth of colour you use. So just add this here. Really, again, this paper takes a lot of colour and water, wet. So you really do want it to be dry unless you're happy with it mixing. Just depending on the strength of colour you want. Just going to add. Right, so dry that again. Right, so once that's dry, just get rid of all this before I drop something in it. Right, now with that, I've got a piece of the adhesive sheet, and if you stick that to the back of that, then you've automatically, let's see, it's not dry yet, but you've got a sticker, so you just peel off one side and attach it to the back, and then when you've die cut you take off the backing. So what I've already done, just to save some time, so these are the dies from the Give It a Whirl that I've used. There are 4 different sizes. So what I've done is stuck the adhesive on, pop those on there, run them through until I've got the number of hearts that I want. So here they're all got them here. So then what I'm going to do is adhere them to this sheet here. So you just choose how you want it to look. When I did this first one I splattered with the extra ink, but I decided this one I'd try something different, so I'll just get these ones on first. So it is always handy when you already have done it once, you've got a bit of a guide on where you want to go, or you can do something totally different. So that just peels off and gives you a sticker. See, and this one's quite a lot brighter than the other one that I did, than this one at least. once you've got all your hearts stuck on, just want to trim off any that go to the back. And then we'll pop that through the die cutting machine with the rectangle frame. And with a rectangle or square, it's a great idea if you pop it in on an angle to go through your die cutting machine. Just goes through a lot easier. Just pop that through. You don't get quite the clunking that you get if you use it straight on. Let's take it out of there. Then I'm going to adhere that to that piece of white cardstock that is slightly bigger. So just pop some glue on the back of a full glue bottle. That's nice and even, and then I'm going to pop those up on dimensionals. And pop that onto the card front. Nice and even, hopefully. Right, now I'm going to add the white craft glue so that I can leave that to dry. And I've got an old pen because it just makes life a little easier. They get a bit messy. Just pop some more. Just pop some craft glue onto the block. And get some scrap paper just to flick that onto. What I do is just add a little bit of water just to makes it easier to flick, and then I'm just going to flick that. Actually, there is a little bit of glue onto that, so let's tidy that up a little bit. If you don't have a glue rubber, any rubber will work. Just off my cutting mat, and then just flick that onto the card front. And then I'm just going to set that aside to dry while we work on the thanks. So what I've done for the thanks is I've got some gold. I've done one already. What I've done is got the gold foil, and then got an adhesive sheet and cut it to the size of the gold foil. Oops, it's sticking to me. And then just adhere that to the back, and then bring my die cutting machine in again and just pop that on there. Makes it a lot easier if you've already made it into a sticker. And then I've also got some vellum that I'm going to pop the outline on, I'm just going to pop a bit of the adhesive sheet on the back of that, because I don't want it to show, and I don't think it'll be too noticeable. I've just got this, if I can get it. There we go. Just got that strip that I've cut, which isn't as big as the vellum. I'm just going to pop that across the back there, so that'll be mostly hidden by the letters, and then run that through. Out of the way. I need a desk that's like a lazy Susan that just rotates with my tools on it, and take my pick tool. This is the best thing since sliced bread. And then I've got my 2 layers of letters. I just find an extra layer just gives it a bit of depth, a little bit of shadow too. Going to lift that off carefully. You want to be gentle when you take it off, because it can sort of tend to pull it out of shape. Which isn't too much of a problem because you are adhering it onto that, but might as well make less work for ourselves. And then that just sits, it's probably hard to see the vellum underneath there, but that just sits with the vellum as a little frame around the gold lettering. You could do it in white, well, anything really, any colour, or cardstock. I just wanted it to be quite subtle. I didn't want to cover up too many of the hearts, too much of it. And then the same with this one, just going to take backing off this, thanks. And then, oops, you see how it does stretch quite easily. And just need a few more fingers when you're doing this, and then just layer that up onto that other one there. And then I'm going to bring that in, so that still will be wet, but I'm just trying to avoid it or moving it. I'll just pull that backing off so you can't see it. And then roughly work out where you want it to go. I'm going to put it about the same place as before. Just pop that on there. And then it's got a few gaps. I mean, you could fill those in a wee bit more if you wanted. Put the hearts a bit closer together. But I've got these gold metallic pearls, and I'm just going to place those in and around the hearts. I don't have to fill up every gap, but just take away some of the plainness. So I'm just going to add quite a few of these. I've got 5 so far, 5, 6. Let's see. Try and randomly, evenly. I like to have an uneven number, but I've lost count now, so I don't think it matters too much on something like this. Yeah, that's probably quite enough. Probably look at it later and think, oh, I add another one here or there. So there we have it. My no my card without any stamping this week. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.